This episode of Android Weekly is brought to you by Full Sail University. So I take a week off and look at what happens. We got some serious leaks on the Xperia Z4, and Heuer took a swipe at Apple, stating that their Apple Watch looks like a phone on your wrist. Now, if you've been following our coverage of the Mobile World Congress, you'll know that Sony really didn't come to play in Barcelona this year, at least not when it came to the Xperia line. But that's okay, because we found some goodies on the Xperia Z4. Now, if these leaks are accurate, Sony's omni-balanced design language is still very much present here, but Sony has switched a few things up. For starters, the micro USB port has been moved to the bottom and appears to be exposed, taking the same capless design seen with the Xperia M4 Aqua and the Xperia Z4 tablet. The Xperia Z4 will apparently only have one port flap, which will likely contain the micro SD and nano SIM slots. For what it's worth, some tech publications are speculating that Sony might be dropping micro SD support altogether. Did you hear that? That's the heart of geeks breaking. Now, it goes without saying that we can't confirm the validity of the Z4 frame leak, but the big takeaway is that Sony isn't necessarily waiting until September to release its next flagship phone. However, they do appear to be taking their time to ensure that the Z4 is a more impressive upgrade than, say, the Z2 to the Z3 was. So what do you guys want to see in a Sony Xperia Z4? Besides better battery life, I personally want to see a fantastic camera. Sony of all companies should be able to do that. Come on, Sony. Now moving on to news about OnePlus's supposed game changer. OnePlus One has made a name for itself over the past year, whether that comes from the marketing mishaps or the controversial invite system. Its next big adventure seems to be on the way soon, thanks to a new teaser outed on the official OnePlus forums. In the forum post, a spokesperson from OnePlus explains that the company's next product is not a smartwatch and not a tablet, but it is a game changer. There are 3 teaser images included in the leak. The first image seen here is of some sort of sensor, but we don't have any more details beyond that. It could suggest that this new device will include some sort of camera sensor, but that is a pretty broad guess. The next image shows the OnePlus logo drawn in a trail of 2 red lights. This might suggest some type of motion tracking technology, similar to what we've seen on the Nintendo Wii. The last image in the leak shows a pair of hands that look like they're holding a controller. This could imply an Xbox Kinect type system, where a motion tracking sensor tracks your every move. I think it's safe to say we're looking at some sort of gaming device. What do you guys think it is? Yes, and as I teased, Heuer took a swipe at Apple. Before we start, it is pronounced
Heuer.
Here we go. The rumors are now confirmed. The Swiss watchmaker Heuer is teaming up with Google to release an Android Wear smartwatch by the end of the year. Details on the Heuer device are scarce, as neither the Swiss company nor Google or Intel, who's contributing the chips and sensors, have gone on record on what exactly we should expect. But their CEO did say this: "It would be absurd to believe that we could develop our own operating system. There is no doubt that we could eventually go to Apple, but why should we do a partnership with Apple, who's producing watches? On one side they'd be a partner, on the other they'd be a competitor. Google is not producing watches, so the relationship is perfect. It will be a traditional look. It will not look like an Apple Watch. An Apple Watch looks like a miniaturized copy of its phone. Our watch will never look like a phone." He did say that their smartwatch will have the emotion and DNA to fit into their Heuer collection, meaning that it will be stupidly expensive. I couldn't find anything cheaper than $1,200 on my online search, and most of them are more than $2,300 Canadian. Wowzers. But don't fret too much, because if you really want a more affordable smartwatch that still looks elegant, you'll be happy to know that Lenovo may be coming out with a 2nd generation Moto 360. Lenovo's CEO took to Weibo earlier last week, unveiling a new image that shows off what might be the next generation update to the Motorola Moto 360. Shortly after the image and the CEO's quote were removed, but this is the internet. Nothing stays forgotten forever. I'm looking at you, Hindi. As you can see here, the top half of the briefcase shows a variety of different smartwatches, all with different sizes of bands, watch faces, and different materials as well. The bottom half better illustrates the different color choices that may be made available. The watches look an awful lot like the Moto 360. The one major design change, aside from coming in multiple sizes, is the addition of lugs for easily changing out the watch bands, which would give the watch a more traditional look than the band style found on the current Moto 360. The biggest unknown is whether Motorola and Lenovo are simply creating revamped watch cases with more customization options, or if this is a real upgrade in terms of specs. Considering the fact that the original Moto 360's hardware is already quite out of date, even from the launch day, a true second generation successor with improved specs would be a welcomed thing. Now, if you love technology, you may want to pursue a career in tech. And one of the number one things I've learned after interviewing so many industry experts is that there is a significant gap between what computer science engineering degree graduates typically learn in theory and the need for real-world hands-on experience. And that's why Full Sail University has set to task to solve that problem. Offered on campus, the Software Development Bachelor's Degree program teaches programming fundamentals through project-based coursework, allowing students to graduate with multiple completed software projects. The Mobile Development Bachelor's Degree, offered on campus and online, teaches students how to develop apps and utilities through coursework that covers iOS and Android development. All students have hands-on access to technology from day one. They receive a laptop computer at an institutional discount, along with relevant software and tools. To learn more about Full Sail's tech programs, visit fullsail.edu/authority. Thanks for watching, guys. I wanted to thank Joe for covering me last week. He did 2 or 3 of my shows. Thank you very much, sir. And don't worry, I'm plotting my revenge, and I will wait to respond until I'm inspired. You don't want to forget about my brothers in Android, Josh, Joe, and the Tech Ninja, Kevin, Lonnie, Chris, Gary, and Ashton Taylor, all working real hard to deliver the very best content on the web. I shall see you in the next couple days on the next Android Q&A. See you then.